Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. May you have a peaceful day. Shabbat Shalom. May you have a restful day. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. As we watch the candles shine. Shabbat Shalom. Cover the challah, pour the wine. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Time to take a big deep breath. Shabbat Shalom. A special day for us to rest. Bring in the light, bring in the light, bring in the light of Shabbat. We light the lights of Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Good evening, Shabbat Shalom. It is such a pleasure to be with you this evening. The traditional greeting for these intermediate days of Sukkot is Mo'adim L'Simcha. May this be a joyous season. May this be a joyous time, right? It's the time of pumpkin spiced everything. It's the season of cinnamon and apple everything. Got a lot of head shakes at the pumpkin spice thing. I don't know about you people. But it is a pleasure that we can be together to not only celebrate Shabbat, but toward the end of our shortened service this evening, make our way out into the Sukkah to fulfill the mitzvah of shaking the lulav and the etrog, singing our way in, of course. But we begin this evening on page 10, how good it is that we can be here together this evening.
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יאללה לילה 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 לילה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יאללה לילה 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 לילה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד.
It's my pleasure to invite Rabbi Emily Meyer forward to lead us in the blessing over the candles found on page 2 in our prayer books.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanim b'mitzvotav v'tzivanim
Thank you. And as we turn to pages 4 and 5, if it's comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to rise. The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing and ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy because on it God ceased from the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit ki hu yom tefillah l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'chavta v'tanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodeshecha v'ahava uvratzon Hintanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. And I invite you to take your seats as we turn in our prayer books to pages 20 and 21. Words of Lecha Dodi, welcoming Shabbat on this Chol HaMoed Sukkot.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat ekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat ekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, hishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat ekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat ekavela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki mikol ha'beracha. Beirosh mikedem, besucha, sof ma'aseh B'nei Shabbat Etrog. O'i v'shalom ateret b'ala. Come b'simcha u'b'zola. Tochen u'nei am segula. Boi chala lechadori ikrat kala. B'nei Shabbat ikabela. Lechadori ikrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. B'nei Shabbat nikabela.
I invite you to take this moment to turn to the people around you to greet them with a Shabbat Shalom. We form sacred community this evening. And we turn in our Sidurim to page 28 as we continue with our Baruch Hu praise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
On the top of page 31, would you join me in the English? Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael, pages 34 and 35.
When I recite the Shema, I like to cover my eyes with 3 fingers, like the sign of a shin, and I like to experience this listening with my whole body, tasting every word on my tongue, feeling it in my mouth, with 1 word for 1 breath. If you'll join me in that.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated as we continue, page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We continue now on page 40.
This Mi Chamocha is probably a tune that's a little unfamiliar. This is a melody that's specific to the festival of Sukkot. It's something that you'll hear to a number of different texts from our liturgy throughout Hallel and other prayer activities that we engage in during Sukkot. It's something that we may hear later today to Ana Adonai. And it's just something that I wanted to bring in as we come out of the high holidays, in which so much of the music is so specific to that point in Jewish time and space. And it brings us into that time in such a meaningful way. And so hopefully this can become a melody that also brings us into this time of Sukkot, connecting us to that place in our calendar and to that place in our community. So this is the Sukkot melody for Mi Chamocha.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osefele, Moshe u'Miriam, Ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
And continuing together on the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores Sukkot shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And on the top of page 44, recognizing a covenant of Shabbat, our day of rest and peace for all time.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam b'rit kolam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, l'dorotam b'rit kolam. Beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, l'dorot ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
On page 46, we find the beginning of our Shabbat Amidah. When you have found your page, if it's comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to rise as we continue together. Adonai Sifatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo V'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav V'Hoshia, Murid Hatah, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umikayem Emunato, Vishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. As you take your seats, would you join me on the top of page 61? Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. When we gather together on Shabbat, when we gather together on Sukkot, in our booths that are designed to recognize the fleeting nature, perhaps of this world, perhaps of safety and security if we don't work for it, we're conscious of the fact that everything feels as if it could slip through our grasp. We are but frail human beings navigating this world. And as we continue with our Mishaberach Lecholim on page 253, we recognize the fragility of life as well as our ability to take away some of the pain of those who are suffering. There are those you are thinking of for our prayer for healing. I invite you to share their name at this time.
Emily Cohen.
Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, God, who brings a measure of comfort to all who are ill. And together we say, Amen.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Aleinu L'Shabeach can be found on the bottom of page 282. Page 282. As you find your page, I would invite you to rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, lateit gedula leotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, ve'or aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. This time in our service, we turn to page 294 for words of Kaddish Yatom, remembering those upon whose shoulders we stand as we reach for even greater heights. We mourn the passing of Henry Gusky, who was laid to rest in recent days, and observe the period of Shloshim for Susan Cohen Rothman. This Shabbat we mark the yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of Harry Alexenberg, Albert Alt, Nathan Barr, Milton Blaine, Anna Bloom, Stanley Bonheim, Charles E. Cantor, Harry M. Cohen, Meyer Copeland, Irving Farbstein, Robert First, Mordecai Green, Lena M. Herman, Pearl Levin Jacobson, Charles Robert Jewell, Harvey Kalick, Morton Kaplan, Stuart F. Kaufman, H. Beryl Klein, Herman Lang, Sherry Lee, Irene Lewis, Jerome Mallet, Ann Mazer, Israel Morgan, Steve Osteroff, Maurice Purr, Sylvia Rabinovitz, Clarence Rosenberg, Ethel Rosenberg, Fanny Rubenstein, Miriam Schatz, Clara Schlonsky, Faye Schloss, Herbert J. Shore, Solomon Sovrinsky, Oscar Spirer, Milton Surloff, Bertha Tischler, Robert Warren, Samuel Weissman, David Williams, Robert Whistler, Fred Wodica, and Beverly Wolfson. David Williams, Robert Whistler, Fred Wodica, and Beverly Wolfson. If there are other names you are remembering at this time, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I would invite you to share it with the community.
Barbara Jean Storch.
Yehei zichronam livracha, may their memories be for us an everlasting blessing. Words of Kaddish Yatom, page 294. I would invite you to rise if it's comfortable for you to do so as we join together. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala u'vizman kariv imru, amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mivorach Lam Olamei Almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha barich hu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushlichata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemayah, V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May God, who makes peace in the highest of heavens, make peace for us and for all who mourn. And together we say, Amen. I invite you to take your seats. We're going to close our indoor portion of our service tonight with a Sukkot appropriate song based on the Megillah, based on the scroll that we read on this holiday. You can find those words on page 360. And immediately following the conclusion of our inside service, I invite all who wish to join us out in the Sukkah. We were hoping to beat the setting sun. I don't know exactly how well we did, but the warmth and light of your presence will enable us to fulfill that mitzvah of shaking the lulav and the etrog, saying those blessings and singing some songs. And we invite you to join us in the Sukkah immediately following. Page 360.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rest, a time to sow, a time of love, a time of hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven.
Shabbat Shalom, Moedim L'Simcha. Please join us in the Sukkah.